Hello, I'm Kathleen K, and I'm going to tell you about the Deaf President Now movement that happened in 1988. I was a student at Gallaudet when that happened. You know, I remember that when it was started, there was a rally, and lots of people in the rally wanted a deaf president. They felt that it was time for that to happen, and to get a deaf president appointed. They were protesting for 1 or 2 months prior to this event. Well, when it finally happened, about a week before, the Board of Trustees made their final decision, and they appointed who they wanted to have as president. And we went to where their meeting was taking place and protesting, and we saw the Board of Trustees. They were really looking down at us from a window. They were literally looking down at us as we were protesting, and we did feel good about this. We thought that we would get a deaf president. And then it happened. That famous time, I remember walking to my dorm, and there were different things. I was walking. I remember the trees. The leaves were falling. There was toilet paper wrapped all around the trees, and I didn't understand why this happened. And there were lots of trees that were like this. So as I kept walking, I saw groups of people moving towards someplace, towards the auditorium, and there was a stack of papers, and the announcement was there. And the paper, I picked it up and I looked at it, and it said Zinzer was appointed as president, but she was a hearing person, and she was therefore a hearing president. And I looked around, and I was not happy, so I went over to this area, this place. I walked there, and there were lots of us lined up, and the crowd was getting bigger and bigger, and I sat down, and it was outside of Gallaudet, and there were police cars all around, and directing the flow and such. There were people who were so upset, complaining that there was a hearing president appointed. So we decided that we were going to go down to where the Board of Trustees were, and we all got up and went there. Now we didn't want anything to be violent, of course. We were united together. We were united in this cause, and we marched down looking for it, and it was the hotel where the Board of Trustees were staying. We went there. We waited for the Board of Trustees to come outside. We waited for a while. And we were discussing things and associating during this. And we were very upset. We had we were chanting. We did not want Zinzer. And a member of the Board of Trustees showed up and said, you know, that told us that a deaf president was not ready to function in a hearing world. Well, that just opened a can of worms. We blew up. We were so upset, and we said, absolutely, deaf people can function in a hearing world. And it was a lot. The next day, the decision was to boycott everything in the school. We were going to close the buildings. We were going to lock people out. Nobody would show up to classes. We were furious because we wanted a deaf president now. And another person came, and other news organizations came. Lots of people came to see what we were doing, and lots of important people came as well. So we were protesting. Our protests were getting larger, and after 5 days of this, we had private meetings and discussions. We had them in secret places, of course, and we were planning for the next afternoon. The next day, we were building specific things, chains, and to lock everything up. And we locked every single door on campus, including the cafeteria where we ate. After 5 days of this, it was a lot. The atmosphere was overwhelmed. There was so much going on. And then finally the time came that the Board of Trustees agreed to 4 of our 5 demands. And they agreed to all of them eventually, that we would get what we wanted. There would be a deaf president appointed, and it was I. King Jordan who was appointed as our deaf president. So we were so happy about this. There was celebrations, and we were so excited to talk about this, and the feeling was, it was just a wonderful experience. And one day it happened that about 3 weeks, well, 1 week into spring break, there were some, anyways, we decided to stay there, and when it was all finished, we dispersed immediately because it was spring break and we knew spring break was over, and I wanted to go to Boston, and there was the news there, and my sister, she heard about it, she heard about what happened, she told me she saw it on the news, and these different things that were going on. And I said, yeah, exactly. But, and a lot of people, when I was home, they were looking up to me, and I really felt excited about this. And I look back and, boy, wow, what an experience.